And we'll begin with a few introductory comments. And of course, as we mentioned earlier, everyone make sure your cell phones are turned off. The Planning Commission will convene as the Zoning Board of Adjustment to consider item 1, approval of the minutes of the April 24th, 2017, and item number 2, request for a variance. For the meeting agenda, we will follow our normal hearing procedure with requesting planning staff to present the report on each item, and then the request the petitioner will come to the podium and make a statement or answer questions. Anyone in the audience wishing to address the item shall be recognized by the chairman, move to the podium, state their name and address for the record. The Board of Adjustment will then discuss the matter and take appropriate action. After item 2, the board will reconvene as the Planning Commission, and action taken on a variance may be appealed to the Circuit Court in a manner and form as provided by the statutes of the State of South Dakota. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the April 24, 2017 Board of Adjustment meeting?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So we go to item number 2. Scott is presenting.
Yes, thank you. Scott Anderson, County Planning Director, and this is a request to reduce, it's a variance request 1703 to reduce the front yard setback from 30 feet to 15 feet on property located on North Shore Place on the north side of Wall Lake. The applicant is Don Hill, and the applicant is requesting to reduce the setback from 30 to 15 feet in order to build a residence on the property. Currently, the property is vacant, and I will go over several items. As you know, there are specific requirements that you need to, as the Board of Adjustment, make sure that are met so a variance can be granted. Those are, number 1, that there are specific conditions or circumstances such as topography or narrowness which warrants a variance. In this case, you have Wall Lake, and there's sloping topography which would reduce a setback. Number 2, does the variance grant a use which is otherwise excluded from that particular district or would diminish or impair the property values in the area? And this proposed residential setback is similar to the majority of homes along North Shore Place. The proposed single-family residence will not diminish or impair the property values in the area. And the applicant has indicated in his narrative that the reduced setback will actually benefit his neighbors by allowing them to retain a better view of the lake, which is important in that area. Number 3, are there specific circumstances or existing conditions which, if strictly applied, would be an unwarranted hardship? And there is. As I indicated, the other houses already, many of them, or almost all of them, do not meet the setback and have been granted variances. So by requiring this home to meet the 30-foot setback, it could be considered arbitrary in most situations, and that's not something that a judge or we would want to promote. So they would meet they'd have a similar setback to the rest of the residences along North Shore Place. And finally, that granting a variance is not contrary to the public interest and that it's in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the zoning ordinance. It is in harmony in intent. It meets the general development pattern along Wall Lake. And number 5, that because of circumstances or conditions, there is no possibility that the property can be developed with strict conformity of the provisions of the zoning ordinance, and that authorization of a variance is therefore necessary to enable reasonable use of the property. And it's my opinion that a variance is necessary and enables a better land use and reasonable use of the property. Strict conformance of the zoning ordinance would pose an undue hardship on the property owner, while the majority of the property owners along North Shore Place have already enjoyed a reduction of their setbacks. So based on that, and the fact that the reduced setback will not harm the public, staff finds that the reduction is in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the zoning ordinance, and we recommend approval to reduce the setback for variance 1703 from the front setback from 30 feet to 15 feet And I'll quickly go through a couple of slides for you, which should show you, so this is the aerial view of the lake, all relatively small lots. This shows this is the, if I can get my mouse to work here. Come on. This is the subject property here, and you already can see that this house is constructed closer than 15 feet, as well as the front of this house, and many of the houses do not meet the 30-foot setback, as you can see. So this is the view of the empty lot, and this is actually looking from the lot, looking to the west, and you can see how close those houses already, the existing houses are. So that are the site photos that I have for you.
Thank you. Any questions of Scott? Yes.
Mr. Chairman, Scott, will the building permit require hookup to the sanitary district then?
It's a requirement, yes. And they would work that out with the Wall Lake Sanitary to make sure that they have available hookup capacity.
And the lots across the gravel road to, I guess, the north, they're sort of non-compliant grandfathered in lots as well, right?
Well, there are lots, I wouldn't say they're non-compliant. Most of them are vacant.
Right.
But there are some that have, there are a couple that have some accessory structures over there.
And finally, I guess, how do you decide what's the front of the house?
It's the front door and the garage.
All right, any other questions of Scott? No, thank you. Is the petitioner here? Please come forward, state your name and address.
Hi, I'm Don Hill, 26552 North Shore Place, Hartford.
Okay.
So the house next to this is where I live,
Okay.
so.
Any questions of the petitioner?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes?
it is your intent actually to build a home there? Is that what your intent is?
Yes,
Okay.
we bought both lots when we bought the existing house there that was in bad repair and tore it down and built a new one. My hope is that I can get my dad to move out next to me in his retirement years and go fishing rather than mow his 5-acre acreage.
Any other questions of the petitioner? Okay, thank you. Anyone else care to address this item? Seeing none,
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve.
okay, we have a motion to approve, and we have a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign. This time we need a motion to adjourn our Board of Adjustment.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion to second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign, motion carries. We now move to our